Tips for Greek Learners Part 1. In this video, I will give examples for my students who are currently learning French, but these tips are useful for every kind of learning goal. 1. The learning trinity. To learn something, you need focused, undivided attention, the understanding of the main concept, and practice with spaced out study sessions. So pull yourself out of distractions, ask yourself, what am I trying to learn here? And for more complex topics, extend your practice over several days. Learning is like building a brick wall. If you don't leave time for the mortar to dry, that is time for the synaptic connections to form and strengthen, you won't have a very good structure. Simple recall. Try to remember the key points of what you're trying to remember without looking at the page. Recalling is proved to be more effective than rereading the material, underlining it, and even than concept mapping. This is why I often ask you after class, what have you learned from this lesson? What did we do today? Interleaving. When you study during a long session, practice different concepts, approaches, and techniques. Flexibility is important if you want to master your material. So instead of dedicating all of your afternoon to exercises on subjunctive, it is better to vary your session with a limited series of exercises, a podcast where the subjunctive is used, and a moment where you try to create sentences yourself with the other verb moods you're familiar with. Avoid illusions of competence in learning and test yourself frequently. Learn to recognize when you're fooling yourself about whether you're actually learning the material, using little mini tests to see whether you're actually learning the material or whether you've been fooling yourself, thinking you're learning when you're actually not. Recall is actually a form of mini testing. Try to avoid depending too much on highlighting, which can fool you into thinking that the material is going into your brain when it actually isn't. Also, tests during study sessions are good for concentrating your mind. You will learn and retain more in 1 hour of testing than you would if you spend 1 hour studying. Be deliberate. Mistakes are a good thing to make when you're learning. They allow you to catch illusions of competence. Avoid practicing only the easy stuff and deliberately practice what you find more difficult to find full mastery of the material. It's often what makes the difference between a good student and a great student. The next 5 tips will be presented in my next video. In the meantime, enjoy your learning. Thanks for watching my final project for learning how to learn with Drs. Barbara Oakley and Terry Savinowski.